What a thumbnail. Welcome to the live show. Yeah, that's me being shocked and surprised of the valuation of BCHA, also rebranded into Ecash, is now worth 6 billion. I can't believe these things, but of course, I've been a few years in crypto, and it's not the first time that I see crap pump into the stratosphere. And I don't understand myself, like who's paying for that? Who is willing to pay this amount of money for a project like that? I'd like to meet such people, but I think that what's going on here is a pump and dump scheme. That's the only way I can explain it. And what is that, a pump and dump scheme? You pump it up into the stratosphere, and then you dump on the idiots that are buying high. And that works. There is a lot of idiots in the world. The way they invest is they chase performance. So they buy what has gone up a lot. Only because it has gone up a lot. They buy from not from a fundamentals perspective, not doing their homework or research, whether it is fundamentally a good currency or fundamentally a good company. No, they buy because they want to make money, and that's their only goal. And as I did when I started investing 20 years ago, something goes up a lot and people getting rich with it, and you want to join, get rich also, and so you buy also, not realizing that actually the risk reward is very bad. Well, rustig hè? No fighting, I'm talking here also, so keep it a bit quiet, please. Huh?
I don't think you can. We go inside.
But of course, I've been wrong about this project because people that have followed it, I was very much against Maurice his plan to introduce a DAF tax into Bitcoin Cash. And he ended up forking off, as most of the community was strongly against this. And he forked off somewhere in November of last year, 2020. So that's now 8, 9, 10 months ago. And when it forked off, you can stay here, baby. Yeah. When it forked off, the value was very low. It was about $10 or $20 per coin, while at the same time BCH Bitcoin Cash itself was about maybe, I don't know, $300, $400 a coin. So the value was maybe 5% of the value of Bitcoin Cash. And I also said at one point, like Maurice is a good example of someone who goes from hero to zero in a very fast time. And actually, I don't think he feels like a zero today. He's making a killing on this pump because that coin, BCHA slash Ecash, has a DAF tax, meaning that 8% or so of the supply, of the new supply of coins that normally goes to miners, now goes to his pocket. And so that's millions of dollars at such valuations every day or every month. So he's making bank. But yeah, I'm also lucky to make bank because I didn't sell my coins on the cheap. It was also an interesting experiment that happened, and that was that there was the opinion in a piece of the Bitcoin Cash community that we should not reward financially people that fork off and not incentivize them by trying to destroy the coin. And that goes in several ways. Try to destroy the fork coin by selling it into the ground, by selling all your coins, because when a project forks off, then you also have those coins. Everybody that has BCH also has Ecash. Huh? And those are the only people that have Ecash. There is no other source of supply. He didn't increase the supply. Similarly to when Bitcoin Cash forked away from Bitcoin BTC, everybody that has Bitcoin BTC also received Bitcoin Cash. Huh? But the same thing happened there. There's a lots of vitriol and negative feelings from the existing coin that a piece of the community forks off. And what people typically do is they dump the coin quite quickly, even at very low valuations. And so the same movement was happening in Bitcoin Cash, that people said like, okay, let's try to destroy the coin by dumping it into the ground, selling all our coins. But also there was also mining attacks on Ecash, where some people thought it was a good idea to do 51% attacks on the coin, and that worked also. And I was also actually, I could follow their reasoning and I was supportive of it, but I didn't take active participation in it. I didn't pay for mining at the time to do a 51% attack, and I also did not dump my own coins at cheap prices, knowing that on one hand, like knowing that like the chance that crap projects pump sooner or later in a crypto bull is high. So it is no, you shouldn't sell cheap. Like there will probably be a chance to sell it for a much higher price, and that happened. That's of course lucky that it happened so soon. And of course, I'm selling my coins at such valuations. This valuation is crazy, in my opinion. $6 billion is not chump change. Like that's still a lot of money. Like that's still a very high valuation in this world. For example, Virgin Galactic is valued the same as a company. It's 10 billion. I mean, $1 billion is a very high valuation, huh? Still today, and 5 billion or 6 billion is very high. It is, and of course, my opinion is that a coin that has a dev tax has little chance to succeed because it will not be decentralized. The development team will not be decentralized. That's why many people were against that idea. You centralize the development into a few people, but also it sets a very bad precedent to use basically inflation as a funding mechanism is a bad idea, in my opinion, because because it's so easy to inflate. Huh? Like he's not inflating, he's just diverting a piece of the existing inflation, but that's how it starts. Huh? After a while, that piece of the inflation will go up from 8% likely to 20, 30% and higher, and after a while, they will likely like even increase the inflation because Bitcoin was built so that the inflation goes down over time, but very likely this will also be changed. And so that's how you get basically to the same problem as we have today, which is fiat currencies. Well, they inflate the supply way too much, and where the money goes, it does not create value for the currency, so the currency ends up going down in value. So that's the whole point of cryptocurrency, is to offer something better than fiat currencies. And the first rule there, I believe, is that don't inflate the supply. Huh? Try to build value in a different way. Especially if you need to keep a project decentralized, you have no other option. You cannot inflate the supply and pay for stuff that way because that centralizes the project into a few people. So I think bad fundamentals, but also bad leadership. Like Maurice Ecash has proved to be a bad leader, using dirty tactics to value power and money over quality and honesty, and he has pushed away quality devs and quality marketeers He was even pushing out Roger Ver at the time, trying to just to with just with the goal to uh, to basically get more power into the project. So bad leadership, bad fundamentals. But then what has he done with Ecash? He's rebranded. Okay, nice name. That's well done. A good name. Also, he increased. He changed the decimal, and basically there. Joy, can you stop screaming? He changed the decimal to basically a million times more. And so there are not 21 million coins in circulation. That's the same, but changing the decimal means that every Bitcoin or every BCH or every Ecash is now 1 million Ecash. And so there's not 21 million in circulation, but 21 what is it? Trillion. And that causes the value of one coin to be a million times lower. So actually, currently you could say that the value per coin is around $300, but because they changed the decimal, it's actually divided by a million, so it's like a very low amount of money per coin. But of course, you have a million times more coins in circulation. So this is a trick that people apply so that shares or coins are cheap. Just increase the supply a lot. And yeah, stupid investors fall for that. They don't think about what's the total value of the project. They don't think about the market cap. They think about how much does one coin or one share cost me, and if it's cheap, it must be a good buy. So it's a trick to attract gullible and naive and inexperienced investors to your project. And so I think what's happening here is that I don't think Amaury had much financial backing. That showed also in his efforts to try to hijack the Bitcoin Cash project. He didn't have the financial backing to do to win the mining war that happened there. So I think what happened was that, you know, in crypto you have groups of pump and dumpers. These are people that are in the business of pumping coins and dumping them high, and then going on to the next project. And that's how you see crappy projects pump very high in the coin market cap. But what happens is they always disappear after a while, either fast or slowly, because they miss good fundamentals, they miss good development, they miss real adoption. But I think the pump and dumpers have found in this project Ecash a good instrument, because what happened was that many people dumped their coins very cheaply. Many people from the Bitcoin Cash community, believing that they were helping Bitcoin Cash by dumping the value of a forked project towards zero. But what they did was they basically gave away their coins very cheaply to other people, and now other people have an opportunity. And I think some of these people must have been pump and dumpers, or maybe it was Amaury with some connections, but they bought these coins very cheaply with the plan to pump and dump it. Because of course that's the first thing you need to do. If you want to do pump and dump a project, you need to be able to capture a good piece of the supply. And that was an opportunity for them to capture that a good piece of it. And then what you also need is a coin where there is little supply left. And of course that's a problem, because many coins, they have a centralized issuance system where they issue a lots of coins. And so if you want to pump a certain coin, well, if there is a centralized issuer that is able to issue lots of coins, yeah, you're pumping it, but in order to pump it, you have to be able to buy up all the supply into the sky. And so the more supply there is, the more expensive a pump becomes. So you want to ideally pump a coin where you're able to buy a lot of coins on the cheap, but nobody else is, because the supply is very limited. And that's the case with a project like this. The supply is very limited because it's a fork of a fork of a fork. and so the amount of coins always goes down with forks, and there is no other new issuance scheme, and so yeah, this was a good instrument or target, a good coin to pump and dump, because they were able to buy lots of coins on the cheap. No, there is no unlimited supply or so. There's actually a very limited supply, um, and, and so I think that's what's going on here. And so they are buying the little supply that they only have to fight a small supply to push it higher, and I think that's what's happening here. But I think the end game is to dump it strong by these same people. So I think it's risky to continue to hold on to this project. I think at current valuation, it's a great opportunity to sell, and that's what I'm doing also. But especially since it's true that many coins, when they pump hard, they don't dump hard immediately. Actually, it's a slow and gradual decline in the coin market ranking. And actually, even compared to fiat, they continue to go up during a crypto bull run. So I do think that, yeah, selling at current price, there is still a good chance, let's say 50-50, it pumps higher. But my strategy is like, yes, I'm selling this, but I'm not selling this for fiat. I'm selling this to invest in another crypto project, because I think it's too early to go out of crypto. My investment strategy is that I don't do that. I don't sell crypto early in a bull market. I hold till the end of the bull market, and that's many indicators show that it's not likely the end of the bull market. Much more likely is we breach the all-time high of 2.5 trillion soon, and we pump towards 8 trillion or 10 trillion over only half a year. And then even projects like this will likely go up in fiat, of course. I mean, that's a very good chance. But will it go up versus other projects? That's a very low chance, I believe. Like, for example, I'm also investing in Bitcoin Cash. I'm not going to buy more of that. I have already a very big position. But I'm also investing in DPI, for example, a DeFi project. So it's a DeFi fund. And I think that's a great investment still. Like, Ethereum is now stealing the show. But I think once Ethereum is done, like the projects built on top of Ethereum, the DeFi projects will have another very big pump. I think that's likely. And so, yeah, I'm planning to sell this, or I'm busy selling this for basically to convert in DPI. And I think that's a good switch. But there are many other crypto projects that are good investments also compared to Ecash. For example, Ecash is now equally valuable as Monero. Yeah, okay, which is the better investment? I think clearly Monero here. But yeah, I think Monero has had some bad luck also. So that's also an interesting switch I see, but I'm personally not doing, because yeah, I've never been part of the Monero project. I invested shortly in it, but my heart is not into it. And for me, I'm very much interested in coins that I think will capture the masses, their attention. And I don't think Monero will do that, even though it has good adoption. It's a bit too controversial a project, too much legal risk there. And I think the masses will much more invest into DeFi. And of course, I also want, what I love about this DPI investment is that I can borrow against it. That's very important, that you can borrow against your investment. For me, that's very important. And this is going very well with DPI on Cream.finance, and now also Aave offers that option. You can borrow 70% of the value of the collateral. And interest rates are relatively low. They were 10 to 15%, but now it's lower, and you also get returns on your collateral. So net, it has gone down to 5%. So very interesting loans, I think, and allowing me to, even though I'm not selling crypto yet, it allows me to stay invested in crypto, but at the same time, because I can loan again, I can borrow against it. At the same time, I can start investing in non-crypto projects, which I have been doing with these loans. For example, my short on gold has not gone well for me. Yeah, gold is down, but not enough for my options to be in the money and to make money. No, they have expired, worthless, many of them, sadly. So I lost about 5% of my portfolio on my gold short, and but I still believe that my thesis is correct. People always like tell me, "Oh, Mark, I think everything is cool except your short on gold." Like, but they never give me strong arguments, so it gets a little bit boring for me. Like, it's just boring. Like, you have to address the arguments I'm giving, and then it's interesting for me. And otherwise, I just ignore what you're saying. Like, you have to have a rational discussion about the thesis. Um, so I still believe that's an interesting investment for me, but also busy with investing in the tourism industry. Also, still an opportunity there, and this I can do with money that I am able to borrow against my crypto. So, a big thank you for me for Amaury Sechet, and that for the project BCHA and Ecash. It drops from the sky from me that I suddenly because I have lots of Bitcoin Cash, I have also lots of Ecash, and so wow, that's a beautiful extra that I'm very happy to invest in something like DPI, and allows me to loan more against my crypto, because I'm not able to loan against to borrow against Bitcoin Cash. I have not found a solution for that, so that's a bit of a problem for me today. But let's hope that with Smart BCH that opportunity also comes, which has recently launched. Um, so let me take a look at the questions. Thanks all for joining. But I would say irrational exuberance has certainly entered the crypto markets. If you look at a project like Ecash pumping to $6 billion in 1 month. In 1 month, it did a 10x. It was $20, $30 only 1 month ago. Now it's $300. It's unbelievable. Somebody said, actually, it's not eCash that's overvalued, it's Bitcoin Cash that's undervalued. And I would say to that, that's certainly true. Bitcoin Cash has dropped to now the 14th place in the ranking on CoinGecko because CoinMarketCap these days, like they're excluding coins. They're not showing, for example, BCHA slash eCash in the ranking. It should be on the 30th spot, but it's not showing on CMC. Also, Hex, a project I certainly not am a fan of, but that pumped to $50 billion. I didn't even know that because CMC is not showing it. So I don't think that's fair. And CMC has been taken over CoinMarketCap by Binance, and so they are manipulating those numbers too much. So I'm using CoinGecko because they do that less, and so there you can see the real ranking. But I don't know if they show Hex because I've not seen that there also. But Hex, I think, is yeah, certainly not a project to invest in, but they have succeeded to pump the valuation of that project to 50 billion. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. These things you see in the crypto market, in the crypto. But I would say that yes, compared to other cryptos, Bitcoin Cash is undervalued. That's true. On the other hand, Bitcoin, but compared to fiat, well, for me, Bitcoin Cash is valued now 12 or 13 billion. That's also not a low valuation. I think when you look at the actual adoption, Bitcoin Cash is not priced too high. Bitcoin Cash has adoption, but it's also small. It's much better than many other projects, but it's still small. Of course, everything is priced in the crypto world for its potential and not for its actual realization. But even there, what's the potential of Hex? 50 billion? It's already valued at 50 billion. So I think Bitcoin Cash is still a very good investment, yeah, but it wouldn't be if it does a 10x. Well, then it's not a good investment anymore. And that's what we all want, that it 10x's so that we're making money, but at the same time, it's not a good investment then anymore. Huh? So there's always two edges to a sword. But I think both BCH and TPI are good investments. There are a bunch of others still left in crypto. I also start to sell my oil tankers. So I do start to follow the approach where you do have to cut your losers. Before I would say like, okay, but as long as the thesis, as long as the thesis stands, you shouldn't sell your users, you should losers, you should add to your position. But I'm starting to change that. Um, well, did I lose money on it? No, it's or maybe a little. It's the same valuation it was a year ago when I started buying it. But yeah, the problem is like I'm investing via interactive brokers. You have I don't have enough because of the losses that I've made recently, and I do have a leveraged position there. I'm not able to trade anymore, buy any other assets because I'm below the initial margin. Huh? A little bit complicated, but basically I have to send fiat to my broker to be able to continue to even buy new positions. I can't buy any new positions anymore. I can only sell. And so, and I have to do that because I have to flip certain investments. For example, I have invested in cruise lines, one of them, Norwegian cruise lines, but I want to flip that for Virgin Galactic, which is, you could say, an airline slash space line, or maybe it's a tourism project. Like, I think that's the better investment. I want to flip that, but I can't because I can only sell, but I cannot buy because I don't have enough. Not enough. Money with my broker. So I do need to send money, but this is perfect. I can do that with taking a loan, borrowing against my crypto. But I also need to like sell some stuff. Um, well, I mean, I'm short on cash there. Huh? I want to increase my gold short. I want to invest also in tourism. I'm looking into safari parks in Kenya. You need money for that, and so I think it's wise. I just sell some losers, and especially if they if I can't get much margin, especially if it's all coming from my cash, because brokers will decide, okay, this stock you can borrow, you only have to put down 20% or 30%, and we will give you the rest. But some of those stocks, they say, no, you have to pay it all yourself. Huh? And some of these oil tankers, for example, I have to pay it all myself. They are a loser. Yeah, then I let go of them because other investments, for example, Virgin Galactic, I only have to put down 20-30%, and the rest I can borrow from my broker. That's much more interesting then. Huh? So yeah, I start to look at these things. And in my airlines, I have a couple of airlines. There's also a big loser there that I was positive about, but I was wrong. The Norwegian Airlines, so not cruise lines, but airlines, air shuttle. These guys I started buying that for 1-2% to even 3% of my portfolio, but they continued to issue more shares and raise more money and basically diluted me strongly. And I don't see it like it's a loser, and so I think it's wise that I learn to cut my losers and I only keep the winners. I have some airlines that did well, I keep those, but the ones that did poorly I let go. Same for the oil tankers. Now many people say, but why don't you apply that to Bitcoin Cash in the crypto world? Clearly a loser, but you keep on investing in it. And you have like this is your poorest move. Many people say to me, but Yeah, it might be true. We'll see. Um, but yeah, there is a big difference as I see with Bitcoin Cash versus, for example, the oil tankers that I'm selling, huh? Or the airlines that I'm selling. Huh? The big difference is that, for example, the airlines. It's just the fundamentals. Like Bitcoin Cash has good leadership. Bitcoin Cash has not been like I didn't lose money on it, but indeed I lost lots of opportunity in it because I should if I invest in Ethereum instead, I would have made a lot more. Um, uh, but okay, you can always say that. For me, like big crypto in general is the future. Oil tankers are not the future. Um, Bitcoin Cash has good leadership. The airline that I'm selling, yeah, airlines are also the future, but without good leadership, they also go broke. And when they continue to raise tons of money and continue to inflate the supply of shares enormously, like they don't care about shareholders if they do that. That's bad leadership, huh? So yeah, I mean that's not happening in Bitcoin Cash, huh? To the contrary, Bitcoin Cash now at Smart BCH has a project where they actually also will reduce the supply of BCH in circulation, just like they start to do with Ethereum. So someone called that ultrasound money, money that goes down in supply instead of up. Not sure about that. There was good critique on doing that also, but yeah. I haven't addressed any question yet from the chat, guys. I'm sorry. Jacob Mihail says, still think Bitcoin Cash will overtake Ethereum. The gap has become very big, so it has the potential, but it will be very hard. It still has the potential because yeah, Ethereum is struggling with its fees. Is struggling to scale, and so many projects that are built on top of Ethereum are starting to diversify and also building on top of, for example, other um, blockchains. For example, the Binance Smart Chain is very popular in the DeFi community to also start building on. And what you see is that these DeFi projects, they start to diversify over different blockchains. And so the idea that the winner takes all, that one blockchain will rule the world is really not, is very unlikely to happen because even the projects built on top of them are also building on other blockchains. And so blockchains need to be competitive and need to be able to offer lots of transactions cheaply. And Ethereum is failing in that. And Bitcoin Cash continues to succeed in that. And so it is possible that Bitcoin Cash also becomes a strong player in smart transactions and decentralized finance. The battle is not over, and I think that even though the world will be focused on Ethereum once it becomes bigger as BTC, I think what will also happen at the same time is that because Bitcoin BTC loses its throne as the biggest one, people will be looking at it more critically, especially the big money that is not involved in crypto or only a very little but does invest in it, such as Katie Wood with her ARK funds, or someone like Elon Musk, people with lots of capital, but only looking superficially at the industry. Well, now it's easy. Oh, you invest in Bitcoin and Ethereum, but once Ethereum becomes the biggest one, then they're gonna hear about why did that happen. because Bitcoin didn't innovate. It pushed away smart contracts, okay. And also because the transaction fees are very high, okay, so they're gonna hear about that. Whereas now they don't really hear about it. They're not interested in it. It's the biggest one, it must be the best one. Huh? And no more study is required. And so once they start to study that, they will have more appreciation also for a project like Bitcoin Cash, because well, Bitcoin fucked it up quite badly now. For that's clear. Huh? But Bitcoin is still in the hearts of many people and was still the first mover that opened up the total cryptocurrency market. Like, and I think a project like Bitcoin Cash will benefit from that. Huh? And of course, Ethereum becomes the leader but continues to fail to scale. So there is a desperate hope to find other projects, but they need to be really decentralized in order to build on top of it. And what you see is that Binance Smart Chain is able to capture a lot of this market, but it's a very centralized project. It's not a wise approach, and I think many people involved also realize that, but there's just not so many other options. But I think that Bitcoin Cash is really building another option. So yeah, I think the potential is still there for Bitcoin Cash to become bigger as Ethereum, but not in this bull market. Maybe in 10 years, 5 to 10 years. Looking at the comments. So people are interested in if my prediction of Bitcoin Cash reaching $30,000 in the bull market still stands. Well, that's based on the calculation that and the expectation that Bitcoin Cash succeeds in regaining its market share that it reached in the previous bubble at the top, which was 9%. And at the same time, if we are at, let's say, 10%, and if we indeed reach 8 trillion or 7 trillion, 10% of that means that's a value of 700 billion. Divided by the amount of coins in Bitcoin Cash in circulation, give you $30,000 per coin. That's my best guess. Right now, Bitcoin Cash has continued to lose ranking and also therefore market share. It's maybe now it's not at 1%, maybe it's at 0.5% or even less. So it needs to like 20-fold in market share, so go up versus other currencies. So this becomes like a really big challenge. Will it happen in this bull market? It looks less likely now than a year ago or 2 years ago. I still have my hope up for it. Unlike so many other projects, because you see so many projects pump a lot, but the fundamentals aren't there. And Bitcoin Cash has continued to work hard on improving its fundamentals. For example, real adoption. A project like Noise.cash and Read.cash is really a big milestone, a big achievement for Bitcoin Cash, because it really attracts many new people to Bitcoin Cash that start to value Bitcoin Cash, have Bitcoin Cash, save Bitcoin Cash, and promote it. And you really need that. And there are very few projects that do that. So I think, the fundamentals are still very good, and there's still a very good chance that Bitcoin Cash succeeds in achieving a 10% market share. Especially given that Ethereum will become bigger in market share than Bitcoin BTC, and this may cause a how do you call it, tipping edge point where a lots of capital goes out of Bitcoin BTC to different projects, but also Bitcoin Cash, thereby lowering the market share of Bitcoin BTC a lot more than you would expect, and at the same time increasing the market share of others more than you would expect. Okay, might all be wishful thinking, huh? We'll see. Gummy asked me why cut your Ethereum winner, which is indeed what I did. Um, Well, I mean, not cutting your winners and but do cutting your losers is something that I've actually started to only really look at the past few months at that approach. Huh? So, um, and indeed, would I do it again? Uh, what I did, selling all my Ethereum for BCH, basically, and a little bit of DPI. No, I wouldn't do that so strong anymore. Looking back at it, but should I revert it now? Also not. Yeah, and indeed for that reason, you shouldn't cut your winners. Or if you do it, you should do it modestly. So good critique, Gummy. Long run says that BCH that the number of transactions has been stagnating since April. So now like 4 months. And if you look at the hash rate, it's also not looking good. Well, actually, if you compare the number of transactions of BCH versus BTC and versus Ethereum, it's an impressive performance. Huh? So you can't, you're never going up in a straight line. There's always pullbacks, and that's the same with the amount of transactions. Huh? And if you compare that, that's just another fundamental that shows and proves that Bitcoin Cash is doing very well. Huh? Like if you bring up the amount of transactions, you can only be very bullish for BCH compared to Ethereum, for example, and especially compared to BTC. Amount of transactions is going up rapidly for Bitcoin Cash, even though it has been stagnating since April. Before that, it exploded. So I mean, it's only normal you get stagnation. I mean, you call it stagnation. I would call it consolidation. You always have a period of consolidation. And in the case of Noise.Cash, why did that happen? Because Bitcoin Cash, because people were allowed to consolidate their transactions in Noise.Cash, and so you don't get a transaction every time you get a tip. No, you get a transaction every time it reaches your set amount. In my case, $10. I get a transaction from Noise.Cash when I earned $10, and that's one transaction. Before I would get every 1 or 2 cents a transaction. Of course, I'm gonna pump the amount of transaction a lot, but what you see today is that, yeah, what you saw then is that actually that's not really a realistic representation of the, the economic value of the network. When many transactions are created of low value, then they are not equal to transactions of high value. And so that was happening in Noise.Cash, and that inflated the amount of transactions too much. Now that people are able to consolidate these transactions, the amount of transactions that you see now is much more a fair representation of how intensive Bitcoin Cash is used. But even if you do compare that, that's still an impressive feat, and it continues to go up a lot. Not on a month-to-month basis, but you have to look at it on a year-to-year basis. And hash rate follows price. There's nothing to see there. When price is flat, hash rate is flat. When price goes up, hash rate goes up. When price goes down, hash rate goes down. People like, it's such a simple concept. How can people continue to look at this as if it's of any importance? It's not. Ye says, we don't care about you borrowing money. Well, actually, I used to believe that you shouldn't borrow money against your assets. That's risky. And that's something that I have started doing the past year and has been a great, I think, has helped me a lot. In improving my performance. So you may not care, but I do care to share the new things that I do and how I try to improve my performance. So that's why I share that, and I think it's a tool that I can be very interesting for you to use also. Looking at the comments, Polkadot Dex for sure. How are you? He says Polkadot is very interesting since it is multi-chain. Oh, I didn't know that. Longrun asks me, what do you think is most important, fundamental or technical analysis? Fundamental analysis by far. I think there's little value to be found in TA. It's a waste of time, I think, for most people. There are always exceptions to the rule. Most people would do much better to do fundamental analysis because as an investor, it's very hard to hold on to an investment. You will only be able to do that if you believe it's fundamentally a good company or a good coin. My love, you want to say something to the people?
Only saying hi, guys.
This is Tabia, my sweetheart. And we have two babies, Joy and Tintin. Tintin, what are they doing? They're sleeping.
Joy is sleeping. Tintin is watching the telephone.
Okay, good.
Here.
There is Tintin. Look, Tintin, you come say hi to the people. Come say hi. Come say hi. Tintin is growing. She's now walking. She's saying hi and bye. And also, she gets put in the corner now. I put her in the corner today for the first time. Because she's always destroying the towers. Tintin always destroying the tower that we built. Yeah. But she's a very beautiful cat. Ja, wacht. Ik ga je pakken, hè. I'll put her on my lap. Let's see. You join? You gonna watch? You gonna watch also? Let's take a look. Also shared on noise that I start to work less, hence less videos, guys, but also less investments I make and opportunities that I miss. But that's okay. That's okay. I start with the girlfriends and family, and I missed the first year of joy. Like I spent very little time with Tabby and Joy the first year, and it's a pity, I missed a few critical points, and I'd like to avoid that for the future. And of course, I'm a workaholic, and that's a great way to get rich, and also a great way to become or stay lonely. Yeah, it's okay. So I don't want that. The point of making money is to have a good life, and not to stash it higher and higher. So I mean, the value, like I think I've reached the peak of performance also. Average return of 45% now after inflation. So that's 50% before inflation per year for 10 years. Like that's crazy. But there's always a price to pay, and the price to pay is that actually that's the last 10 years. I was already 10 years before that working hard, and life goes fast. My wrinkles are appearing clearly, and I'm past half of my life now. So time to change priorities, and so I've done great in the past. I hope I continue to do well, but the quality of my work will also go down. My returns will go down, and the quality of my calls will go down because I put less energy in it. It's inevitable. Um, and from that perspective, I think also like there's always I've made mistakes in crypto, and many crypto investors they think like, oh my god, project like Bitcoin Cash is such a loser. And Mark has been so positive about it, invested so long in it. It's now 4 years with little return. It's a good example of an investor past its peak, but there's lots of like investing in a project that's fundamentally good is very easy also. Like, yeah, sure, I failed in the price going up, but as long as the fundamentals are good or improve, I mean, you have to look at the amount of energy you need to put in also. This is an easy to invest in. Same for a company that continues to grow in revenues, and is not using any bookkeeping tricks, like it's a sound and good company. That's easy to invest in. It requires very little energy to stay invested in it, and that's really very important if you also want to do other things in your life. Like the risk is actually very low. And it's the risk that gives wrinkles and stress. When you realize that you have risk. So I'm not too concerned, and life is good. Hi, welcome to the Bitcoin Cash podcast. And nice to see you also. Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna have to re-watch it from the start if you want my comments on Ecash pumping into the stratosphere. But I think that also with this pump, it's proven that I don't think it was the right strategy to try to destroy a project that forks away. No, with mining or by selling cheap. I don't think it was the right strategy. I was supportive of it to try that approach because indeed Bitcoin, the white paper Bitcoin has suffered a lot from being hijacked and or being forked off, basically. Yeah, but I think it's best to focus on building your own thing instead of trying to destroy another, and I think that's the right strategy. Yeah. Somebody asked, why is there a fence here? In Kenya, they built like that. It's like every house looks like a prison. And well, there must be a good reason then also. It's because Well, yeah, there's lots of poverty, and so I mean, there is lots of burglary also. So if you don't fortify your house, the chance to get burglar is high. I think. Otherwise, people wouldn't do that, huh? But yeah, I'm not in prison, but who is in prison right now is Fluffy Pony, who was once the lead developer of Monero, or the lead hat, or the front man. So I think that also plays in why Monero has done poorly, price-wise. I hope he gets out. I've never been a fan of him, but I hope that he gets out. There seems to be a discussion going on in the comment section between some people. More gain strategies. I enjoy your rethought cash articles very much. Oh, Longrun says that you sold your Ethereum similar to selling your Tesla before. Selling your winners, I think he means in the wrong strategy. Actually, like my call on Tesla, looking back now, it's a year ago where I made the call you should sell, and I sell, and it had gone up from $200 to $1,500. That's where I sold, and after that, the few months after that, it went up to $3,000. So it doubled again after that. But I already had almost a 10x. But indeed, the call was too early. But my prediction was the top chance that we reach the top is high, and it will go sideways likely for a long time. So there's nothing to see here. Time to move on and invest in other projects. And even though it did double again after I sold out completely, I mean, it did flatline, and it is indeed, it hasn't done much in a year. So, I mean, I think I did that right. The big mistake that I made was the options that I bought, also of Tesla and other companies. Those I sold way too soon. That was a big mistake. But the shares themselves, I don't think I did bad by selling it before there's the last doubling. Um, there's a famous expression saying, leave the last 10% for the courageous ones. Because that's true. Of course, with Tesla, I knew, like the mistake also I made with Tesla was that, and I wouldn't do today anymore, with such a share. When you know you have a certain kind of asset that will likely pump sooner or later strong and then go not down again but sideways, then you should borrow against it. I should have not sold it at 1,500. What I should have done is borrow against it to the max. Whatever they're willing to give me. Keep the shares, borrow against it to the max, and if you're wrong and it crashes through the floor, get your margin call and be forcibly liquidated and pay down your loan and sell your shares on the way down with forceful liquidation. But much more likely to happen is that it will double again because timing the top always fails. So instead of selling it, you still have it and you enjoy the doubling. And you can borrow even more against it now. And only then it goes sideways, and then you get maybe a few margin calls, but because it doesn't crash, you only get like a few margin calls and you pay down a piece of the loan, but basically you're still having those shares for the most part, and you're still having that loan. And that was the wiser move. So that's what I try to apply now also. But of course, with crypto, what's different is that it does crash back to the floor, even the quality projects. So you can't apply that there. What my plan there is, yes, I'm borrowing against my crypto, but my plan is to pay down. My plan is to try to estimate the top and pay down with a margin of safety, those loans, and even sell all that crypto, and not try to borrow against it and continue to hold it during the bear market. No, because the bear markets of crypto are very different than corrections in quality stocks. No, the bear markets of crypto are brutal, and even the quality drops by 90%, so you can't apply that strategy there. Did I I do a part of investing? Do I have a physical business? No, I just invest. Yes, I'm still holding Bitcoin Cash for 50% of my portfolio. Did I see Roger Ver his video with CoinFlex? No. Does Tintin have BCH? No. Make her the youngest human with BCH. Yeah, well, technically you can only own it when you can control it. So once you have a phone and you can explain it and they understand the concept, then I would say it's a fair match. Maybe Joy can become the youngest owner of Bitcoin. Adrian Melanger says, I have not watched your channel in 1 year. I did 120x in my portfolio. Congratulations, Adrian. That's a tremendous performance. Hi, Melinda. Thank you for the compliments on my daughter. Jay says that he got into Bitcoin Cash because of a random video of me on YouTube. Great to hear. V Dentist says that he's been following my for some time and I found it very valuable. Thanks so much. He says his experience with crypto is that too many people focus on TA, and it means that then they FOMO into investments and they also sell too early, and that's correct. TA gives lots of false signals. TA by definition puts you dictates you to buy something after it already went up a lot. And it also dictates you to sell something after it already went down a lot. But the problem is the zigzags. Sure, it can go up a lot more. And in crypto, you can say, yeah, but actually the signal is given when it only went up 50%, but the potential is a 10x, 20x, so that's okay that you get a late signal. Or the other way around. Yeah, sure, it already dropped 50%, but the potential is to lose like 99%. So it's a good signal that you can use. But the zigzags are the problem. It doesn't like it false signals. They ruin the party. And then they will say, yeah, but it's better to have a small loss than a big loss. Yeah, but the problem is with the false signals is that you accumulate many small losses, and that is also a big loss. So I don't think that TA. Of course, like there are very successful traders that apply TA, but what you will see is that they are very advanced in it. They've been doing this for 10 years. They have developed their own strategies. You couldn't imitate it. So you can't escape the 10,000 hours of work you need to put in to become very good at something. So sure, some people do it successfully, but it's not worth it for most people. And most people don't want to put all that time in. And so, yeah. But I would agree that if you combine fundamentals with technicals, you're gonna overall have a better performance. But how much work is that? Like, it's so much work. Huh? Like, I'm too lazy to do it. Huh? Yeah. Yeah, I don't agree with Doc Polk's analysis that Bitcoin Cash has a branding problem. Not at all. I think Bitcoin Cash is a great name, and it's the same as let's say that Tesla is taken over by another CEO, and the other CEO says, actually we should also build gasoline cars because gasoline has certain advantages that electric does not have, and so we're gonna build some kind of hybrid cars also, and and is that the right strategy? Well, let's say you have a group that says, "My God, like this is such a bad idea. Let's fork away from Tesla and let's call it Tesla Electric, and let's continue to build only electrical cars." Do you think that Tesla Electric, which is now a different company, or Tesla EVs, is a bad branding? Do you think that they should change their name and remove the Tesla name and change it into something else? No, of course not. Like Tesla Electric or Tesla EVs is a great name. Especially when the original Tesla is now building hybrids and some of these cars you think it's electric, but actually there's some gasoline in it. Like they have lost track of the mission and also the future, because by diverting their attention towards gasoline cars, they're not going to build the best EVs anymore in the future. However, Tesla Electric continues to focus on electrical cars. They're probably going to make the best electrical cars in the future, and after a while will become bigger than the original Tesla from which they forked away from. And I think it's exactly the same story here. Bitcoin Cash, yeah, Bitcoin BTC has lost its mission. Like the whole idea of crypto is peer-to-peer cash that you can transact towards each other cheaply, fast, and without counterparty risk. That's the power. And on top of that, you can build a lot. If that's there, you can build a lot of innovative financial systems. But if you don't have that, then you have a problem. And so Bitcoin BTC doesn't have that anymore. And so you're forced to like build things on top of it, like second layer, but that's also not working because the first layer is not working. Like it's a mess, yeah, over time that will become clear, and so Bitcoin Cash is ready to be snatched because it says what it is. It's clear. It's Bitcoin Cash, and that's what people will want in the future, very likely. They don't want Ecash. What is Ecash? That's one of the 1,000 cryptocurrencies. It's just another cryptocurrency. Just like you have also tons of other electrical companies, EV companies, and many traditional people, traditional car makers are also making EVs now. But what do people want to buy? They want to buy a Tesla EV, not a BMW EV or a Porsche EV. Most people that think about, I want to, okay, I'm ready to go electric now. My next car needs, I would like it to be electric. They will check out the offerings of Tesla because Tesla is the first mover. Tesla is the big name. It's the same in cryptocurrency world. People that come in, they're gonna check out Bitcoin. and not the thousands of other brand names, because they know Bitcoin is the first one. Bitcoin is a brand name that's like 1,000 times more valuable than even Ethereum. So to be called Bitcoin Cash is a tremendous advantage that you have. It really gives a much higher potential to your currency, because chances that people will check it out is a lot higher. And so, yeah, I totally disagree with Doc Pulk. And it's a strategy that was tried from the beginning by BTC maximalists who are enemies to the Bitcoin Cash project, trying to convince the Bitcoin Cash community to change the name. Like, it's so transparent that they are giving very bad advice, and it's only to in the hope to destroy the project or to make it irrelevant. When you're called BCHA or Bitcoin ABC, yeah, I mean, in the case of Amari, changing name to Ecash, I think is a good move, because he's also diverting away from the fundamentals of Bitcoin. Let's say you're forking away from Tesla because your opinion is that actually the future is not fully electric, the future is hybrid cars or some kind of, I don't know, water stuff cars, or I don't know, steam cars. Your vision is that it's something different. Yeah, should you call it Tesla then when you fork away? No, change the name into what you're gonna build. And so I think in the case of Omari, he did well to change the name away from Bitcoin, because he's not building it out according to the vision of Satoshi Nakamoto. According to the white paper, he's not building out, he's going away from it completely. So changing the name then makes sense, but not in Bitcoin Cash's case. Yeah, can you not spam the comment section, please? I love Bitcoin Cash very much. I do not love spammers. I'm gonna have to end the show soon, guys. What's my take on uranium? I haven't followed it, but I was really happy to hear that Elon Musk is also positive about nuclear energy, because he's been a big promoter of wind energy and solar energy, claiming that only these sources can solve our energy problem. But it's the first time I heard them say recently, actually, he's very positive about nuclear. I'm happy to hear that, because like, I don't see it happening with wind and solar. I do think that the biggest invention the past 100 years when it comes to energy is nuclear energy. By far, wind energy is an old technology. It's very old. It's thousands of years old. And nuclear and sun energy, okay, yeah, there's some innovations there, but overall, capturing energy from the sun is lots of work, and need lots of space and lots of infrastructure. However, capturing the energy from a chemical reaction that releases tons of energy. Wow, that seems like the right approach, if you can, of course, do it in a secure way. But all these things are possible. So I think that's really the road ahead to become. Go to the next step is to realize that the more energy you consume, something that Elon Musk also doesn't really understand, it seems, but the more energy that you use, the better, because the cheaper it will become. And so his critique on Bitcoin BTC uses too much energy is very poor critique. That I actually don't think he even believes himself. It was just a diversion, I think, because he's very educated. He knows that people will use more and more energy over time, and actually that's a good thing. because that means energy becomes cheaper and cheaper over time, and also becomes cleaner and cleaner over time. And so, and better and better. And so, what you actually want to do, if you want humans to conquer the galaxy, is to first and foremost, you want humans to use more energy and produce more energy, and cheaply. You can't, it will not be used more if you're not creating it cheaply. So you have to create massive amounts of energy cheaply and cleanly. And nuclear is the way forward there. Um, so yeah, great to hear. And so, but of course, uranium is only a small segment of it. When I was researching it, my impression was that actually uranium is an old technology within the nuclear energy segment. And actually, the future for nuclear is actually innovations such as using not fusion but fission. Seems to be like the next step. And so actually uranium is just a commodity that you need for the existing nuclear power plants. But I think the massive increase in producing a lot more energy, a lot cheaper and cleaner, is actually not by continuing to use these uranium nuclear power plants, but by building new power plants that do the job a lot better, and may use other commodities as a source. So I think if you want to try to capture the gains there, the way to do it is to invest in new technologies within the nuclear sector, and in companies that build new power plants, and not in the commodity itself. So, and that makes it very difficult, because how are you going to do that? Like, it's a real problem, because which company does that? And they are very high capital intensive projects, and so it's not interesting for small investors like us who want large percentage gains. No, I don't see it possible. But it is very interesting for billionaires, people who have lots of money, and who want to invest. Yeah, then you have a capital problem. You can't invest in crypto when you have so much money. A little bit, but you do need to find other investments, and then I think that's interesting. Yeah. So people, yeah, yeah. But about EVs, I drove the Porsche Taycan, and I love the car. I rented it for a month, and I really love the car. I think Porsche did an amazing job, and this is the car that I'm considering buying, to drive. Like, I love the car. I can really recommend to check that car out. 5% left on my phone, so we'll be forced to end it soon. I had the fastest one, Turbo S, Taycan Turbo S, and it is fast. But I really love it, like charging up your car, like you do with your phone overnight, or stopping at a fast charger. When I was in Europe, wow, a fast charger will charge up the car from 0 or like 10%, like very little left, to like 100 in half an hour. But already in 10-15 minutes, you're like from 10% to like 60-70%. So like, it's crazy how fast it goes, and it clearly is the future. Oh, Yannick Koval says he bought the Porsche. Great to hear, man. Yeah, I think it's a really cool car. Porsche has taken a big step forward, and that means the Volkswagen Group, because for every Audi also have an interesting EV offer. Volkswagen also interesting EV offers, cool car. So I think that certainly like Tesla needs to step it up also, because like the competition is coming. I mean, Tesla does not need to step it up. They have the momentum in their favor. But yeah, interesting offerings also as elsewhere now, and that's new. So if it drops here, it means my battery is flat and the live show is finished. Huh? Hi Ryan Giffen, nice to see you. How is your YouTube channel? Also, was really great to see that some famous YouTubers starting to talk about Bitcoin Cash, and there's one very good video that I recommend to see, where he's comparing, doing the whole story about Bitcoin BTC versus Bitcoin Cash, and that really also gives me good hope that the story of Bitcoin Cash I may become mainstream, and attract lots of investment capital. But make sure to use noise.cash because that's really our best bet to win this because the strategy I think that Bitcoin Cash has followed has really of focusing on merchant adoption. That was not the right strategy. Uh, and I'm going against Roger Ver's project. I realize, but like I mean, it's just that it's a simple story. Like every merchant you convince, some of them will start accepting it. They have too few customers, so they drop it after a while. And so if you can like convert the whole island, then you can keep that going and they won't drop it again. But usually like there's just way too little Bitcoin Cash users in any given area to support even a simple brick and mortar merchant to keep it going. So if you want to focus on shops, you should focus on online shops that have a much wider reach and that can have enough Bitcoin Cash users to keep it going. But generally, I think that the strategy to shift and to start focusing on something like you really need to find adoption. You need to build first the user base of many people that hold BCH and that want to use it. That's what we still need to build out, and only later you can go to brick and mortar merchants. But the last phase, first phase is see BCH in many more people's hands, and Noise.cash is by far succeeding the most of to see many new people that never used crypto or never used Bitcoin Cash for the first time use it and also start valuing it and keeping it, not just dumping it. It's not just like a giveaway thing. Like it comes together with education, especially Read.cash, and people really educate themselves and become. It goes into their heart, and not only in their pocket, also in their heart. And so I think this is our best chance. And in the Bitcoin Cash community, I miss the support still. If you look at Reddit, for example, there's lots of complaining about Read.cash and Noise.cash. It's the best thing we have. So I think I would like to see much more support from it within the Bitcoin Cash community. It's in our own self-interest. And Simon is killing it and continues to kill it with these projects. Wow. Ryan Giffen says that his YouTube channel is going very well, and he got an interview with Mike the Investor, which is a channel with 60k subscribers. That's great, man. Congrats. So crypto market top, still my best prediction is that we reach that at the end of the year. We're now playing with the all-time high of 2.5 trillion. It's stagnating a little bit around 2.2 trillion now. But you can see the energy is in it. Crap projects pumping like crazy. So I think it's very likely we will breach the all-time high soon. And after that, we're going to go up very, very fast. And it's going to become euphoric very, very quickly. And so it's just now the time to not sell any crypto, hold. And also once we breach the all-time high, hold at least to 4, 5, 6 trillion. It's gonna double from 2.5 to 5 trillion, very likely 6 trillion. But then the risk is there, and then you need to really like start selling strong and not fall for the hodl traps, or the this time is different narratives, or crypto is the future and all fiat will go to zero. Don't fall for all that. Prepare to, and also like prepare your bank accounts. It's really a problem, but you want to cash out, don't do it in USDT, because it may go down the drain, together with the crypto bear market, down to zero. You cannot, counterparty risk is very high, especially if you lock in profits in stable coins that like it's just not, that's not the right strategy. A lot of preparation is necessary, to be able to cash out, and to lock in your profits securely. So that should be the focus. But okay, you can still focus on also investing in the right crypto projects. Yes, but I like to keep it simple and easy there. I just buy an index of DeFi projects and voila, the job is done for me. But okay, I mean, my returns, like I'm not an exceptional crypto investor. If you compare to many other crypto investors, they do a lot better. But of course, they have smaller capital usually, and they take on a lot more risk, and they get rewarded tremendously during a bull market. But usually they lose tons of it also then in the bear market that's coming after. So maybe you want to follow some of these people to invest in more potential projects that go up a lot more, yes. But yeah, continue to follow me, and also Colin Talks Crypto to try to time the top as good as possible, because yeah.